Do Jamaicans really hate Bajans? Do Bajans really hate Jamaicans? That is the question. Do we really hate each other? And the reason why this topic today is because of my recent visit to the beautiful island of Barbados. And when I started to post the videos on that trip, I received a particular comment in the comment section, and this person was saying that why is it that Jamaicans, in particular Jamaican content creators, are so interested in Barbados now, and went on to say that there's some history between Jamaicans and Bajans, that Jamaicans do not like people from Barbados. So that is what kind of spurred this conversation today. So let's talk about it. Okay, so this whole conversation about Caribbean people not liking each other, there's this like rivalry going on between different Caribbean islands. It is not something new. It's something that I've been hearing pretty much all my life. Growing up in Jamaica, like in the 90s, the late 80s, 90s, as a teenager, like I started hearing that, oh, like Trinidadians, like they hate you Jamaicans, or Bajans, they hate Jamaicans. And at that time, being there as a young teenager, never met anyone from Trinidad, never met anyone from Barbados, from St. Vincent, from anywhere else, because like I'm in Jamaica, growing up in a inner city community. You know, it never dawned on me like, why would people not like us, even though they don't know us, you know? And so not until having the opportunity to leave Jamaica and to go to other places to work, not until then did I realize that this was some like a made up type of thing. It's almost like what you'd call like a tribal syndrome type of thing. Like someone putting this idea in Caribbean people that we hate each other, like a conquer and divide type of syndrome. But what I've realized living outside of Jamaica, living outside of the Caribbean, visiting Caribbean communities in North America, I've come to realize that Caribbean people, in particular West Indies, we are some of the most united people ever. Like out of all groups, we are some of the most united group and some of the most united people. And I would have never learned that if I was stuck in Jamaica. If I never left Jamaica, I would have never had the opportunity to learn. I remember about 18 years ago or so, I went to New York, and I went my first time experiencing a Caribbean church. You know, so I went into this church, and over the pulpit there was like 30, 40 flags. There are flags from every single Caribbean island, like not just West Indies, but like from Haiti, from Dominican Republic, every island you can think of, they had the flags. And that was the first time experiencing a Caribbean church. So over the years, you know, living in Canada, living in Toronto, one of the most multicultural cities in the entire world, you know, going to a Caribbean church, my wife being from St. Vincent, I'm from Jamaica, my experience is not that. That is not my experience. Like most people that go to the church that I attend, most Jamaicans are not married to Jamaicans. Most Bajans are not married to Bajans, unless they left their island and came to Canada as a couple. For the most part, there's a lot of intermarriage, intermingling going on between the Caribbean, in particular the West Indies. So that is my experience. So guys, sound off in the comment section and let me know what is your experience, whether you're in the Caribbean now or you're living in the diaspora, you're in New York, you're in Atlanta, you're in Miami, Toronto, Montreal, any community that has a strong community. Because what I believe is that in the Caribbean, we're hearing something different. Like if you're in Jamaica, you're in Barbados, you're in Trinidad, you're in St. Vincent, you're hearing something different. But then when you come to North America, when you go to Europe, in the UK, like I know people from St. Lucia, from different islands that go to the UK, And they say the first thing that they do when they get there, they find a strong Caribbean community. And that's where they feel at home. So, as I said, sound off in the comment section. Let me know, is this your experience? Do you believe that Caribbean people, do you think that there's this rivalry going on in the Caribbean? Do you think that Caribbean people from different islands hate each other? Or do you think it's just what I said, like a type of tribal syndrome where there's something planted in us to kind of hate each other? Because they say like a group divided is weak. So they don't want us to be strong. Sound off in the comment section and let me know what you think. And one other thing that I'm grateful for is that I have the ability to travel, to go to different countries and to experience different cultures and to kind of see like what is fiction from what is truth. Because a lot of things that I was told, a lot of things that I've learned, like whether it's from the media or whether it's like being where I am, like in Jamaica or so, a lot of those things were just like completely wrong. Like even when I learned about Cuba, like things that I learned about Cuba before I visited Cuba, completely different. Cuba is pretty much my favorite place in the world that I've visited so far. And being in Jamaica and hearing about Cuba, I never thought that Cuba would become my favorite place. So that is one of the things that I'm happy that I'm able to travel and to learn different cultures and to see things for myself. Because, as I said, growing up in Jamaica and hearing how like Trinidadian people hate Jamaicans and Bajan hate Jamaicans and everybody in the Caribbean just hate each other. Like, if I'd kept that mindset and moving outside of Jamaica, like I would not give people the opportunity to see who they really are. And as I said, like, I believe that Caribbean people, based on my experience, Caribbean people are some of the most united people that I've ever come across. I've had the opportunity to work in around different cultures. I work in hospitality for decades. So I'm able to meet people from all over the world. I'm able to interact with people from all over the world. I remember meeting someone from like Bangladesh for the first time and having conversation and learning for the first time that in Bangladesh, they have different tribes. You know, similar to you know, the tribes like in Africa, some African countries. And I didn't know that. And some of the tribes in Bangladesh are like Crips and Blood, you know, like in America, this gang thing. And they hate each other a lot of times. And even when they move outside of their country, if you go to anywhere in North America and you say like, oh, I'm from this tribe or I'm from that tribe, like there can be conflict. The same thing in India. Like I met people from India who like they're Sikhs and there are different groups of people that live in India. And there can be some rivalry or some tension within those communities. In Africa, some places in Africa, there are different tribes. You dare not get married to someone that is not from your tribe in some of these countries. And that's what I'm saying. But you don't hear people talk about that a lot. But you hear people talk about how Caribbean people, they just don't get along or they hate each other. And as I said, my experience is that, like, I've never met someone from Trinidad that would say like, oh, I'll never get married to a Jamaican because of whatever. The only thing is that people say like, you know, like Jamaican, I know Jamaican men have a bad reputation for being like players. I know Trinidadian men have a bad reputation for like sweet talking women off their feet. So in those conversations, talking to like a young lady, like I would understand when a woman would say, you know what? I would never date a Jamaican because like my friend used to date a Jamaican and he has like 15 baby mother or whatever. That is a different topic for a different day. But for the most part, Caribbean people, as I said, based on my experience, I'm in a Caribbean community. I attend a Caribbean church. My wife is from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I have a lot of friends that are from Trinidad, from Barbados, from wherever, and they're married to people from different islands. So based on my experience, I don't believe that Caribbean people are divided. I think we're one of the most united groups anywhere in the world. And that's just my belief. If you believe different, Share it in the comment section. Sound off in the comment section. Let me know if you think otherwise, or if you agree with me, like if you're from Trinidad or from St. Vincent, you're married to someone from a different island, and you think that based on what I'm saying, I'm correct, leave that in the comment section also. And I'm going to share where all of this is coming from, why I believe that Caribbean people think that there's this big hate or big rivalry between, in particular, Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados. I'm going to share that with you. Okay, so this is the history lesson part of the program. So I'm going to share where this perceived rivalry is coming from. In particular, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Barbados. So in the late 1940s to early 50s, in the Caribbean, the British monarch, they wanted to pretty much get rid of the islands that they colonized. They wanted to not have such a active role in the islands. So they came up with this plan to create the West Indies. So in the mid-1950s, they created the West Indies Federation that was officially up and running by 1958. So by 1958, the West Indies Federation was fully up and running, and the idea was to give 10 Caribbean islands at the time independence from the British monarch, and that these 10 islands would go on and govern themselves. But in putting the West Indies Federation together, the idea was to have one united West Indies. So within that one united West Indies, the idea was to have one prime minister that would be the prime minister for the entire West Indies. Under that, then they would have like premier and other political leaders, similar to what the British did with Canada. In Canada, we have one prime minister. Every province and territory, there's a premier, and there are other political figures that fall underneath them. That was how the West Indies was supposed to run. So within that federation, Sir Grantley Adams, the Prime Minister of Barbados, became the first Prime Minister of the West Indies. Sir Grantley Adams, the first Prime Minister of the West Indies. So Barbados, the island of Barbados, got the privilege of getting the first Prime Minister in the West Indies, and the head office of the West Indies was in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. So what historians will tell you is that the three Caribbean islands that were pretty much leading the West Indies, Barbados, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago. And what had happened is that Bustamante in Jamaica, like the Jamaicans felt some type of way, because what happened is that Jamaica, the largest English-speaking island, the largest island population and everything in the West Indies, they thought that the head office should have been in Jamaica and not in Trinidad and Tobago. The first prime minister should have been Bustamante, should have been the prime minister for the West Indies. So Jamaica backed out of the West Indies Federation, and then everything fell apart, and the West Indies just completely fell apart, and Jamaica went on to hold a referendum to get its own independence in 1962, and Trinidad followed. So once Jamaica left the Federation, then Trinidad, the Federation just fell apart. So that is where the perceived rivalry is coming from, and it's like a political rivalry. It's not Jamaicans hating Trini or Bajans hating Jamaicans or the entire Caribbean hating each other. That is where it started from. It was just like a political, and up to today, like the West Indies have never been able to function. CARICOM, to me, is very dysfunctional because every leader in the Caribbean want to be the head, So that is where it's coming from. It's not about the people of the Caribbean not liking or hating each other. All of that came from what was the West Indies. So that's my history lesson for today. So guys, very interesting topic. And I know, like, all over the Caribbean, this is not new to Caribbean people. We have heard about this rivalry or this hate that's going on. But I can let you know, I pleased to let you know that that is not real. You know, of course, there are people that might not like each other, but this is not a thing that Caribbean people just hate each other. And as I said, if you have a different experience, feel free to share it in the comment section. And guys, if you like this type of content and you want me to bring more, you know, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this. And remember, peace. I'm out.